The civilization of ancient Egypt is one of the oldest and most influential in world history. It is believed to have emerged around 3100 BCE, with the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt by King Narmer. However, the roots of Egyptian civilization can be traced back to the prehistoric period, when the Nile Valley was first settled by nomadic hunter-gatherers. In this essay, we will explore the early history of Egypt, from its earliest days to the unification of the country under Narmer. The Nile River played a crucial role in the development of ancient Egyptian civilization. The river provided fertile land for agriculture, which allowed early settlers to establish permanent settlements and develop a complex society. The Nile also provided transportation and communication routes, as well as a source of fish and waterfowl. The earliest settlements in Egypt were located along the Nile Valley and in the Nile Delta. The oldest known settlement is the town of Merimde, which dates back to around 5000 BCE. Merimde was a small farming community that grew crops such as wheat and barley, as well as raising animals like cattle and sheep. Archaeological evidence suggests that the people of Merimde were skilled craftsmen who produced pottery, jewelry, and other goods. Another important settlement from the prehistoric period is the town of Badari, which dates back to around 4000 BCE. Badari was located in Upper Egypt, near the modern city of Asiut, and was known for its distinctive pottery and burial customs. The people of Badari buried their dead in simple graves, often with personal items such as pottery vessels and stone tools. By around 3500 BCE, the people of Egypt had begun to develop a more complex society. They had established larger settlements, such as Hierakonpolis and Nakata, and were engaged in long-distance trade with neighboring regions. They also began to develop a system of writing, which would eventually become the hieroglyphic script. The early Egyptian society was divided into a number of different social classes. At the top were the rulers, who were known as kings or pharaohs. The pharaohs were considered to be divine beings, and were believed to have the power to control the forces of nature and the destinies of their subjects. Below the pharaohs were the nobles and priests, who were responsible for administering the country and overseeing religious rituals. The majority of the population were farmers, who worked the land and paid taxes to the ruling class. Religion played a central role in ancient Egyptian society from the earliest days. The Egyptians believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses who controlled various aspects of the natural world. Some of the most important gods included Ra, the sun god, Osiris, the god of the dead, and Isis, the goddess of fertility and motherhood. The Egyptians believed that the pharaohs were the living embodiment of the gods, and that they had a direct connection to the divine realm. The Egyptians also believed in an afterlife, and believed that the soul would journey through a series of tests and trials before reaching its final destination. To prepare for this journey, the Egyptians developed elaborate burial customs, including mummification and the construction of tombs and pyramids. The pharaohs were buried in elaborate tombs filled with treasure and personal belongings, which were believed to be necessary for their survival in the afterlife. The Egyptians were also skilled builders and engineers, and developed a number of impressive architectural achievements. One of the earliest examples of Egyptian architecture is the mastaba, which was a flat-topped rectangular structure used for burials. Mastabas were made of mud bricks and were often decorated with colorful reliefs and carvings. The Egyptians also developed the technique of building in stone, which allowed them to create some of the most impressive structures in the ancient world. One of the most famous examples of Egyptian stone architecture is the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was built for the pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE. The pyramid is made up of over 2 million stone blocks, each weighing several tons, and stands at a height of 147 meters, 481 feet. The construction of the pyramid is a testament to the skill and ingenuity of the ancient Egyptian builders. In addition to the pyramids, the Egyptians also built a number of other impressive structures, including temples, palaces, and obelisks. The temples were dedicated to the gods and goddesses, and were often adorned with intricate carvings and decorations. The obelisks were tall, narrow monuments made of a single piece of stone, and were often erected as symbols of the pharaoh's power and authority. Despite the many achievements of early Egyptian civilization, it was not without its challenges. The country was often subject to invasion and warfare, both from neighboring regions and from within. In addition, the reliance on the Nile for agriculture meant that the country was vulnerable to periods of drought and famine. However, the resilience and ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians allowed them to overcome these challenges and continue to thrive for thousands of years.